I am so glad you could join me today, Mara.
The gardens are beautiful, Romeo. I always enjoy our time here.
I must say, Mara, the gardens seem brighter when you are here.
Oh, Prince Romeo, you are too kind.
We must eliminate him before the coronation. The chalice on the table contains the poison.
The coronation cannot happen while he breathes. We move at midnight.
The morning sun rose gently above the royal palace, painting its white stone walls with soft shades of gold. Birds chirped among the flowering gardens, while servants hurried through the long marble corridors preparing another busy day inside the kingdom. Everything appeared peaceful. Yet beneath that peaceful surface, invisible storms were already gathering. Mara stepped through the palace gates, carrying a basket filled with fresh flowers gathered from the royal gardens. Her mother's worried face remained fresh in her mind. "Be careful," she had said before Mara left home. "Remember your promise." Mara smiled softly to herself. "I will, Mama." She repeated those words quietly, as though reminding herself. She had no reason to fear. Princess Zara had apologized. The queen had forgiven the misunderstanding. Perhaps everything truly was changing. Perhaps God had finally answered her family's prayers. Little did she know that every step she took toward hope was also taking her closer to danger. Inside Princess Zara's chamber, Ivy carefully arranged expensive perfumes across a polished wooden table. Zara stood before a large mirror while one of her maids braided her long dark hair. She looked calm, elegant, almost gentle, but the expression reflected inside the mirror revealed something entirely different. Hatred. Cold, patient, calculating hatred. Ivy dismissed the maid before quietly closing the chamber doors. She believed every word. Zara smiled. "I told you she would." I almost felt sorry for her. Zara laughed softly. "Don't. The easier someone trusts you, the easier they become." Ivy nodded. What happens next? Zara slowly walked toward the palace window overlooking the gardens. I'll become the sister she never had, the friend she always wanted. I'll listen. I'll comfort her. I'll protect her. And while she thinks she's found someone who truly cares, I'll learn everything. She turned slowly. Every fear, every weakness, every secret. Even Prince Romeo won't be able to save her. Elsewhere, Prince Romeo finished his morning sword practice. Sweat covered his forehead as he handed his sword to one of the royal guards. Captain Julius bowed. "Excellent form today, Your Highness." Romeo smiled. "My father says a prince who neglects training eventually becomes a king unable to protect anyone. His Majesty speaks wisely." Romeo looked toward the palace gardens. "Has Mara begun today's inspections?" "Yes, Your Highness." Romeo's smile widened without him realizing it. "I may walk through the gardens before breakfast." Julius hid a knowing smile. "As you wish." Mara was arranging fresh lilies inside the queen's reception hall when she heard footsteps behind her. "Good morning." She turned. Prince Romeo stood smiling warmly. She bowed immediately. "Good morning, Your Highness." "You don't need to bow. Every time we meet, I must. You are the prince. And you are my friend." Mara lowered her eyes shyly. "I don't know if palace rules agree with Your Highness." Romeo laughed. Then perhaps palace rules should become friendlier. She couldn't help smiling. For a few peaceful moments, they simply talked about flowers, the weather, the coming harvest festival. Simple conversations. Honest conversations. Neither noticed another pair of eyes watching from the upper balcony. Princess Zara. Her fingers tightened around the stone railing. Even after everything, even after pretending to apologize, Romeo still smiled only that way when speaking to Mara. The sight burned inside her like fire. Judas stood nearby, pretending to supervise changing guards. But his attention remained fixed on Zara. He noticed every expression, every movement, every clenched fist. He had learned something important during his years serving the palace. People rarely hid anger with their eyes. And Zara's eyes betrayed her every single time. He whispered quietly, "What are you planning now?" Later that afternoon, Princess Zara approached Mara in one of the palace courtyards. Mara turned with surprise. Your Highness. I've been looking for you. You have? Would you walk with me? Mara hesitated only briefly. Of course. The two women slowly wandered through the royal gardens lined with colorful roses. Zara admired every flower dramatically. These roses are beautiful. They're my favorite, Mara replied. My mother loves them too. Oh. She always says flowers remind her that difficult seasons never last forever. Zara smiled kindly. What a beautiful saying. Inside, she memorized every word. For nearly an hour they talked. About village life. About childhood memories. About family traditions. Mara found herself laughing more than she expected. The princess seemed nothing like before. She listened carefully, asked thoughtful questions, even apologized again. I'm ashamed of how I treated you. I hope one day you'll truly forgive me. You already have my forgiveness. Those words were exactly what Zara wanted to hear. Trust. Complete trust. That evening Ivy met Zara inside her chamber. Well, Zara sat comfortably while sipping warm tea. She's even easier than I imagined. What did you learn? Her father's illness is getting worse. Her family depends completely on her salary. She sends almost everything home. Ivy nodded slowly. Interesting. Zara continued. She also dreams. What dream? She wants to build a proper home for her parents. And someday, open a school in her village. Ivy smiled. So she has hopes. Exactly. And hope is much easier to destroy than pride. Meanwhile, at Mara's home, her mother prepared dinner over a small cooking fire. Her father rested nearby beneath the blanket. Tina arrived carrying fresh vegetables. Mara welcomed her warmly. You look happier today. I think things are finally getting better. Really? Princess Zara apologized again. She even asked me to walk with her. Tina frowned. That seems sudden. I know, but maybe she truly changed. I hope so. Tina looked thoughtful. Just don't trust too quickly. Mara smiled. I won't, yet deep inside, she already had. Days passed, then weeks. Princess Zara became a regular part of Mara's daily routine. Sometimes they shared breakfast. Sometimes afternoon tea. Sometimes they simply walked through the palace gardens. Even the palace servants began whispering. I never imagined the princess and Mara becoming friends. They're together almost every day. Perhaps the misunderstanding changed Princess Zara. Even Queen Eleanor smiled after seeing them together. This pleases me. This pleases me. She told Romeo one afternoon. It shows Zara is maturing. Romeo nodded. I've noticed the difference. I hope it lasts. From behind a nearby pillar, Judas heard every word. Unlike everyone else, he wasn't convinced. Not even slightly. Late one rainy evening, Judas completed his patrol near Princess Zara's chambers. As he prepared to leave, voices drifted through the slightly open window. He immediately stopped. Inside, Ivy spoke first. She trusts you completely now. Zara laughed quietly. I told you she would. When? Soon. I still need one more piece. What piece? I need proof. Proof of what? Something valuable enough that everyone believes she wanted it. And after that? Zara's voice became frighteningly calm. After that. No apology will ever save her. Judas felt cold. His heart pounded against his chest. Another trap. Another false accusation. But this time, something told him it would be far worse than the stolen necklace. He quietly stepped away from the window before anyone noticed him. Looking toward the moonlit palace gardens, he whispered, Mara, you have no idea what's coming. The next morning, Judas barely slept. Princess Zara's words echoed in his mind all night. I need proof, something valuable enough that everyone believes she wanted it. He knew Zara had not abandoned her mission. She had only become smarter. Her first plan had failed because someone had secretly protected Mara. The next one would be carefully designed. And Judas feared it would leave no room for rescue. The palace awakened before sunrise. Servants swept the long corridors while cooks prepared breakfast for the royal family. Mara arrived carrying fresh flowers, greeting everyone with her usual warm smile. Nothing about her suggested she knew danger was following every step she took. Princess Zara spotted her from across the courtyard. A bright smile appeared on her face. Mara immediately bowed. "Good morning, Your Highness." "There you are. I've been looking everywhere for you. You have? I thought we could have breakfast together." Mara smiled. "I'd be honored." Several servants exchanged surprised glances. Only a few weeks earlier, Princess Zara could barely stand the sight of Mara. Now, they spent almost every day together. The palace buzzed with whispers. Perhaps the princess has truly changed. I've never seen her this kind before. If only everyone could forgive so easily. Only Judas remained silent. He knew those smiles were masks. And behind every mask waited a hidden blade. Inside Zara's private dining room, a beautiful breakfast had been prepared. Fresh bread, honey, fruit, tea, cheese. Everything looked perfect. As they ate, Zara spoke gently. "Mara, tell me about your childhood." Mara smiled. "There isn't much to tell." "I don't believe that. My father used to take me fishing when I was little. He always said the river teaches patience." "And your mother?" "She taught me that kindness costs nothing." Zara nodded thoughtfully. "What about your dreams?" Mara hesitated. "I've never told anyone." "You can tell me." After a moment of silence, Mara spoke softly. "I want to build a proper home for my parents. And if God blesses me even more, I'd like to open a school in a Dew village. So children won't have to walk for hours just to learn." Zara smiled warmly. "What a beautiful dream."
Inside.
She laughed. Dreams, families, weaknesses. Every answer made Mara easier to control. Later that afternoon, Prince Romeo met Mara near the royal gardens. "I heard you've become good friends with Zara." Mara smiled. "Yes. I'm happy. I think she's changing." Romeo looked relieved. "So do I. For years I hoped she'd become more understanding." Mara nodded. Everyone deserves another chance. Romeo admired the kindness in her heart. She always believed the best in people. It was one of the many reasons he admired her. Neither of them noticed Zara watching from a balcony above. Her smile disappeared. Every time Romeo looked at Mara, jealousy consumed her. She whispered to herself, "He smiles at her as though she already belongs beside him. That smile should be mine." Her nails dug into her palms. "I'll erase it." The days that followed brought an unusual peace to the palace. To everyone else, it seemed as though Princess Zara had become a different person. She greeted servants politely, thanked the palace maids for their work, and even began helping the queen organize charity supplies for nearby villages. The queen watched her daughter with quiet satisfaction. "I have prayed for this day," she told the king during dinner. Perhaps Zara has finally learned that kindness earns more respect than pride. King Alden smiled. "Our daughter has always had a good heart. Sometimes it only needed the right lesson." From the opposite end of the dining hall, Prince Romeo remained silent. He wanted to believe it. He truly did. Seeing his sister and Mara together filled him with hope. Perhaps the rivalry was finally over. Perhaps peace had finally arrived. Only Judas felt a chill every time Zara smiled. The following morning, Mara was assigned to inspect the royal library. Dust floated through beams of sunlight that poured in through the tall stained glass windows. She carefully checked each bookshelf, making sure every scroll and book was in its proper place. As she worked, she heard footsteps. Princess Zara entered carrying 2 books. "I thought I'd find you here." Mara bowed. "Your Highness." "No formalities today." Zara smiled warmly. "I brought these history books back to the library myself. You didn't have to do that." "I wanted to." She looked around. "This place is beautiful. It has always been my favorite room." Mara smiled. "I love it too. My father says books allow people to travel without leaving home." Zara laughed softly. "I'd like to meet your father someday." "You would." "Of course. You speak about him with such love." Mara's eyes brightened. He's the wisest man I've ever known. Zara listened carefully. Every sentence was another piece of information. Every smile made Mara trust her more. That evening, Ivy entered Zara's chamber. How much have you learned? Zara closed the book she had been pretending to read. Enough to understand exactly how she thinks. And she believes everyone deserves forgiveness. She never suspects evil unless it is standing directly in front of her. Ivy smiled. So, she's completely vulnerable. Almost. What remains? I need the palace to believe that she has betrayed not only the queen, but Prince Romeo as well. Ivy's eyes widened. That would destroy her. Exactly. Meanwhile, Judas had begun keeping a written record. Each suspicious conversation, each unusual meeting, each strange order Zara gave her servants. He recorded everything inside a small leather notebook hidden beneath a loose stone near the guard barracks. If anything happens to Mara, he whispered, someone must know the truth. He prayed he would never need to reveal it. A few days later, the palace prepared for the annual Royal Unity Banquet. Nobles from neighboring kingdoms would arrive to celebrate peace and trade. The palace became busier than ever. Servants polished silver until it shone like mirrors. Gardeners filled every courtyard with colorful flowers. Musicians rehearsed from sunrise until sunset. Queen Eleanor personally appointed Mara to supervise the banquet preparations. Mara, she said kindly, I trust your judgment. Make sure everything is perfect. It will be, Your Majesty. From across the hall, Zara watched with forced delight. The queen trusts her with everything now, Ivy whispered. Yes, Zara replied. And that's exactly what I wanted. Later that afternoon, Romeo found Mara arranging decorations in the grand ballroom. You've hardly rested all day. She laughed. The banquet is important. So is your health. He handed her a small cup of fresh fruit juice. You forgot your afternoon break. She looked surprised. You remembered? I notice more than you think. Mara accepted the drink with a grateful smile. Thank you. Several servants exchanged knowing glances before quietly returning to work. The affection between them was becoming impossible to ignore. High above, hidden behind the balcony curtains, Zara watched every moment. Her heart burned with jealousy. They don't even realize how obvious they are. Ivy folded her arms. What will you do? Zara's expression hardened. The banquet. What about it? It will be the perfect stage. There will be nobles, royal guards, the king, the queen, everyone who matters. She smiled slowly. When Mara falls, the entire kingdom will witness it. Ivy felt a shiver run down her spine. Even she had never seen Zara look so determined. That night, long after the palace had fallen silent, Judas walked his patrol outside Zara's chambers. As he passed the window, he heard unfamiliar voices inside. Not just Zara and Ivy. There was someone else. A man. His voice was low. You understand what you're asking? It must look convincing. It will. And no one must ever know I helped you. They won't. The man hesitated. If this fails. It won't. Judas carefully moved closer. Just as he reached the window, the chamber door suddenly opened from the inside. He stepped back into the shadows. A hooded figure slipped quietly into the corridor before disappearing into the darkness. Judas could not see the man's face. But one thing caught his attention. The stranger wore the crest of the royal treasury on his cloak. His heart sank. The treasury. What is Zara planning now? He watched the mysterious man disappear into the night, knowing that whatever Princess Zara was preparing had become far more dangerous than anyone imagined.